Archangel Michael stands before you in the quiet of this very moment, his presence gentle yet powerful, his eyes holding the light of countless dawns. He says your name slowly, almost like a prayer, letting it rise into heaven's air. The sound of it touches the throne of God, and God responds, "Let them see it now. No more delay." There is something heaven kept hidden for you, not because you weren't ready, but because the time had not yet been full. Today, that time has come. The seal is broken. The page is turned. And what was written for you alone is now before your spirit's eyes. Michael leans closer, not with urgency, but with the care of one who knows this is a holy unveiling. He tells you that 3 times this message was stopped, pushed aside, delayed, but heaven never forgot. The angels carried it in their hands, protecting it from every shadow until this moment when God whispered, "Now. Let them see it." And so, here you are, holding not just words, but a piece of eternity meant for your life. As you read, Michael shows you glimpses, doors opening where there were walls, light flooding the places you thought would always be dark, and blessings with your name engraved in gold arriving like a soft rain over thirsty ground. This is not just a promise, it is a release. The moment you believe it, the moment you let your heart open fully, heaven's flow will meet your hands. And now, God's voice comes gently into your heart. You were never forgotten. You were never lost. Everything meant for you has been preserved, and today I place it in your hands. Receive it. Archangel Michael is still here, his wings unfolding like dawn breaking over the edge of eternity. The air around you feels different now, softer, richer, almost as if every breath carries whispers from heaven. You can feel it deep within. This is not an ordinary moment. This is the moment the delay ended. This is the moment heaven looked at your life and said, "Now it's time." Michael's voice is steady, the kind of steady that makes you trust without question. He tells you that for too long, there were unseen hands trying to keep this blessing from reaching you. It was held back not because it was lost, but because heaven was shaping the perfect season for you to receive it. And that season is this very one. It's not next week. It's not someday in the distance. It's now, right now, as you're reading these words. You notice the way his gaze lingers on you, not hurried, not distracted. He is looking at you as though he has waited for centuries to deliver this moment. In his hands is a small golden box, its surface glowing with a light that doesn't come from this world. He does not open it immediately. Instead, he waits until your spirit quiets, until your heart stops running from thought to thought, until your attention is fixed. Then, gently, he lifts the lid. Inside, you don't see gold or jewels. You see memories, the tears you cried alone, the moments you almost gave up, the prayers you whispered under your breath thinking no one heard. But they were all gathered here, in this box, and heaven kept them safe. Then you see them changing, the tears turning into streams of light, the pain transforming into doors that swing wide open. Every closed chapter is now rewriting itself into something new. Michael says, God saw it all. Not one moment of your life slipped through his fingers. Not one prayer was ignored. This is why he told me, let them see it now. Because now is when you will understand it was worth the wait. And as he speaks, you feel something within you release, like chains loosening, like the heaviness you carried without even realizing it finally falling away. You are lighter. You are clearer. You are ready. Michael steps aside, and you sense another presence, warmer, even more familiar. It is the Lord Jesus himself. His eyes meet yours, and everything inside you falls silent. He smiles, that kind of smile that feels like sunlight breaking through clouds, and he says, "You thought I was far, but I never left. I've walked every step with you, through storms and sunshine alike. And today, I'm placing something in your hands that no one can take away." He lifts his hand and in it is a key, not a key of metal, but of light. He places it in your palm, and the moment it touches you, you see visions of doors you've never opened before, opportunities you never imagined, love and peace you didn't think possible. Jesus says softly, "This is yours because you trusted me when you couldn't see the way. Now watch what I do." In that moment, Michael and Jesus stand together, and you understand why this message was blocked 3 times before. It was because the weight of what is being given to you now is too great to be rushed. It had to come at the precise moment heaven appointed. The moment your heart was ready to not just hear it, but receive it. And now, as you hold this key, as you stand in this light, heaven's voice says once more, "Let them see it now. Let them walk into it fully." The light in the room seems different now, not the kind of light that comes from lamps or the sun, but a glow that feels alive, as if every beam carries the breath of heaven itself. Archangel Michael still stands near, but his gaze is no longer on the scroll or the box, it is on you. His eyes hold the calmness of oceans and the certainty of mountains. He speaks slowly, with the kind of voice that makes you forget everything else around you. This is the moment you were meant to see. Heaven waited for you to be here, not by accident, but by perfect design. You think you just found this message, but this message found you. He steps closer and places his hand gently over your heart. You feel a warmth spread through your chest, reaching every corner of your being. It is not the warmth of fire, it is the warmth of recognition, the deep knowing that you are not alone and never were. The warmth carries memories. The laugh of someone you loved, the quiet moments of peace you thought you'd forgotten, the prayers you whispered in the dark when you felt the world had turned its back. Michael says, "Heaven heard them all." And the answer has been in motion for longer than you realize. From the side, another light begins to glow, softer, golden, and tender. You turn your head and see him. Jesus, walking toward you. His steps are unhurried, but each one carries a weight you can feel in your spirit. When his eyes meet yours, every wall you've built inside begins to melt. There's no judgment there, only a love that has known you from the beginning. He smiles and says, "You have carried so much. More than you've told anyone. More than anyone could understand. But I have carried it with you. I have been here through it all, and now, it is time for you to see why." Jesus reaches into his robe and pulls out something small yet powerful, a folded piece of parchment. He holds it out to you, and you notice your name written across it in letters of light. When you touch it, the parchment unfolds on its own, and inside is not written words, but a vision. You see yourself standing before a vast field, a field filled with unopened doors, each one glowing with its own light. Jesus leans close and whispers, "These are the things you thought were lost, the dreams you thought had died. They are not gone. They have been waiting for this very hour." Archangel Michael steps beside him and adds, "But there's more. Heaven is not only returning what was delayed, it is multiplying it. What is coming will be greater than what you prayed for, because you chose faith over fear." You look back at the vision and see the doors beginning to open one by one. Inside each is a moment of joy, a place of peace, an embrace you thought you'd never feel again. It's overwhelming, but in the most beautiful way. Michael and Jesus exchange a glance, not one of urgency, but of quiet celebration. Michael says softly, "This is why the message was kept from you until now. It was not ready. You were not ready. But now, every piece has aligned. Heaven's calendar has reached your page." Jesus takes your hands in his and says, "From this day forward, you will see me in ways you have not before. You will know my presence in your steps, my hand in your victories, and my comfort in your quiet nights. You will understand that nothing was wasted, not one tear, not one moment of waiting." The glow around them grows brighter, and you realize this is more than just a moment, it is a turning point. You are no longer standing in the shadow of what could have been. You are stepping into what will be. As the vision fades, Michael closes the parchment and places it against your heart. It dissolves into light and sinks into you, becoming part of who you are. Jesus nods, his eyes filled with unshakable love, and says, "Now walk forward. The path has been cleared. The doors are open. And I will be with you every step of the way." You breathe deeply, and for the first time in a long time, it feels easy. You know, not just hope, but know, that something has shifted forever. The light does not fade after the vision, it deepens, like dawn deciding to become day. You can feel it in your chest, a steadying, a soft courage that wasn't there a moment ago. Archangel Michael remains near, not as a distant figure, but as a quiet companion. Jesus stands on your other side, his presence warm as sunlight on a winter window. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is forced. Everything is precise, gentle, and meant for you. Michael lifts his hand and a path appears, clear as polished glass, glowing as if lit from within. At the far end sits a doorway formed from strands of light braided together. You recognize the braiding. It looks like 3 folds, 3 times gathered and then opened, what was delayed, now released. Michael smiles, as though he heard your thought. "What once paused has now been permitted," he says softly. "Heaven chose this hour for your unveiling." You step forward. The glass under your feet answers each step with a faint, living hum, like a song you knew before you were born. Jesus walks in rhythm with you, and somehow the air begins to smell like rain after a long dryness. When you reach the doorway, the 3 folds loosen on their own, and the room beyond opens like a breath you didn't know you were holding. Inside, quiet. A golden kind of quiet that holds, not emptiness, but meaning. In the center is a long table carved from something that looks like light made solid. No lamps. No candles. The table itself glows with a tenderness that feels familiar. Upon it rest three things, set in a perfect line. 1. A small book bound in white. 2. A ribbon of deep blue. 3. A circle, simple, luminous, without beginning or end. Michael gestures to the book. Open with your heart, not your hands. When you let your attention rest upon it, the cover loosens and pages begin to move slowly, as if turned by a thoughtful wind. There are no paragraphs, only moments. You see your own life written as light, the evening you chose kindness when you could have chosen the last word, the morning you got up anyway, the message you sent when you felt shy, the prayer you whispered when the room was dark. Each moment glows, then settles into the page like a jewel finding its setting. Jesus speaks, and his voice makes the room feel warmer. What you thought went unnoticed is the very material I used to build the future you're stepping into. Your gaze shifts to the blue ribbon. It lifts, a gentle arc, and unspools into a river that floats above the table before becoming a path suspended in the air. Along this path are tiny doors, each the size of your palm, each etched with a simple word, peace. Clarity. Friendship. Provision. Home. Laughter. Focus. Favor. Rest. Michael touches the word rest and it opens like a petal. You hear your own breathing slow, your shoulders descend, your jaw unclench. Nothing dramatic, only everything you actually need. You won't have to earn what is already yours, Michael says. You'll recognize it by how it fits. Finally, your eyes find the circle. Jesus lifts it and places it gently over your wrist. It isn't metal, it isn't weight, it's promise. The circle brightens at your pulse, covenant, he says simply. Not a contract you could break, but a bond one delight to keep. Where you go, this goes. Where you rest, this holds. You notice how natural it feels, how right. Not showy. Secure. A wall you hadn't seen reveals itself as a window. Beyond it, a field, not empty but expectant, the color of late afternoon before the first stars appear. On that field are chairs, many, many chairs, arranged as if for a gathering. Some are already occupied by faces you know, others you don't know yet, but your spirit recognizes them and relaxes. These are the ones who will clap for you without measuring themselves against you. These are the voices that will steady, not scatter. Jesus nods toward them. Community as covering. Not a crowd. A chorus. From somewhere behind you, a soft breeze moves through the room and carries a scent you love. The second unties the knot of overthinking. The third brightens your sense of right place, right time. None of it is dramatic. All of it is decisive. Jesus turns your face toward his. There is joy in his eyes, the kind that does not fluctuate with weather or headlines. I trust you with good things, he says. Let me see you enjoy them. It doesn't feel like an instruction. It feels like freedom. The book on the table closes, the ribbon gathers itself, the circle rests against your skin. The three folds that once held the doorway now arch above you like a blessing. You take one step toward the corridor beyond and stop, not from fear, but to memorize this room's gentleness. You want to carry it with you. You will. That's the nature of what happened here, it travels. Before this part ends, something simple and perfect settles over you, like a soft shawl placed across your shoulders by someone who knows your exact size. You don't need a sign, you realize you already have one. Your breathing is easy. Your thoughts are clear. Your chest is warm. You are ready. Michael opens the silent door. Jesus takes one step with you through it. The floor brightens, the path agrees. And in the quiet of your heart, a final sentence writes itself in light. What was held back has become your portion. Walk gently. It will meet you. Stay with that. Let it root. Then, when you're ready, take the next step. The room of beginnings has become your life. The moment you cross the silent door, the air feels different, like stepping from one season into another without moving through the months in between. You are not rushed, yet you sense a quiet urgency, not to run, but to notice. The light here doesn't just come from above, it rises from the ground too, as if the very path is invested in your steps. Michael walks just behind you, not to lead or to follow, but to guard, and Jesus moves beside you, his pace perfectly matching yours. The corridor is alive, but not loud. Each wall carries scenes, not paintings, not photographs, living moments that shimmer like water in sunlight. You recognize some: the afternoon you chose stillness over reaction, the hour you comforted someone while carrying your own ache, the morning you didn't quit. Others are from the future, though they feel as familiar as memory, conversations that open new doors, laughter in places you haven't yet been, hands reaching for you without condition. You pause before one scene, your home, filled with a warmth you haven't felt there in some time. The air is lighter, voices are softer, and even the shadows seem honest. Jesus notices your gaze and says quietly, "Yes, this is coming." Not because you forced it, but because peace has decided to live with you. The way he says it makes it sound inevitable, like sunrise. A few steps ahead, the corridor widens into a circle. At its center grows a tree, its trunk strong enough to carry the weight of centuries, yet its leaves as new as this morning. Every branch carries a different kind of fruit, yet they all share one thing: they are perfectly ready, none too soon, none too late. Michael gestures toward the tree. Every answer, every supply, every connection, ripened at the exact moment you can receive it. Heaven's timing wastes nothing. You reach for one of the fruits, and instead of plucking it, it opens in your hand like a door. Inside is not pulp but a place. A garden where three people wait for you. One you know well, one you've met but didn't expect here, and one whose face you've never seen but whose presence feels like a homecoming. They don't speak, yet something passes between you, an understanding that they are part of your unfolding. They will hold space for you, and you will hold space for them. When you return to the circle, the tree's roots seem deeper, its leaves brighter. Jesus touches the trunk and the entire corridor shifts into a balcony overlooking a vast expanse. What you see is not a city, not a countryside, but a tapestry, woven from every prayer you've ever spoken, every hope you've ever whispered, every act of kindness you've ever chosen. From up here, the pattern is clear. Nothing was wasted. The threads you thought were frayed are actually tied into stronger knots. The parts you thought were blank are filled with colors you just couldn't see from ground level. Michael leans against the railing, looking out with you. Most people never get to see their own tapestry from this view while still walking their path, he says. But you needed this glimpse, so you'd trust the weaving even when you can't see the full design. As you take it in, a breeze moves through, not cold, not sharp, just enough to carry a voice you know. It's not loud, but it doesn't have to be. You recognize it instantly. It's the voice of someone you've loved deeply, someone who now lives in heaven. They don't step into view, but their words land inside you like a warm hand resting on your heart. You're doing better than you think. Keep choosing love, it's working. There's no ache in hearing them, only a fullness, a reassurance that you are still connected in ways distance can't break. Jesus turns to you then, his eyes carrying both depth and delight. What comes next will not feel like starting over. It will feel like arriving. He hands you a small folded cloth. When you open it, you find 3 seeds, each glowing faintly. Plant these where your peace feels most at home, he says. One will grow into rest, one into clarity, and one into joy you won't have to protect, it will protect you. You hold the seeds carefully. They're not heavy, yet they feel substantial, like carrying the beginning of something you'll tell stories about later. Michael nods toward a staircase you hadn't noticed before. It spirals upward, but not in a dizzying way. Each step feels steady, measured, secure. As you climb, the light grows warmer, until you emerge into a room without walls, only horizon. Here, the sky bends close, almost as if heaven has lowered itself to meet you. You can see far, but you can also see near, both in perfect focus. It's here that you realize. The call on your name in the earlier room was not the end of the message. It was the beginning. And the more you walk, the more the path is shaping itself to fit your exact stride. Before you move on, Jesus places his hand over yours, covering the seeds. When you plant these, don't watch for sprouts every day. Trust that what I've begun, I will finish. Michael smiles, that knowing kind of smile that carries no pressure, only confidence. You're not chasing your portion, he says. It's moving toward you even now. And with that, the staircase shifts into a gentle slope leading toward a new field, one you've never walked, yet somehow always belonged to. The wind changes again, carrying not just one voice. This time, but many. They're not calling for help, not calling for answers, they're calling for you. Not for what you can give them, but simply because your presence has been written into their joy. You take the first step into that field, and the ground agrees. Something in you settles. Something in you opens. And in the quiet of your spirit, you hear the simplest sentence, one that feels like the completion of all the others. It's your turn now. The slope beneath your feet feels alive, as if each step awakens something beneath the surface. You notice the ground is warm, not from the sun, but from a deeper source, like the earth itself has been keeping this place ready just for you. Ahead, the field opens wider, a sea of tall grass swaying in harmony with a wind you can't see but can feel. The air is fresh in a way that almost startles you, as though every breath is restoring something you didn't even know you'd lost. Archangel Michael walks at your side, his gaze scanning the horizon, not in suspicion, but in anticipation. "You've been brought here for a reason," he says quietly, his voice carrying both weight and comfort. "Every step you've taken, even the ones you thought were detours, has been leading you to this clearing." His words settle into you like roots finding deep water. From a distance, you hear a faint hum, soft at first, then slowly weaving itself into a melody. It isn't coming from one direction, it seems to be all around you, the sound of voices layered in perfect harmony. As you walk further, the grass parts naturally, revealing a narrow path lined with glowing stones. Each stone pulses gently, almost as if it's greeting you, acknowledging your arrival. Halfway down the path, you notice something remarkable. The stones begin to reflect scenes from your life, not just moments of joy, but moments of resilience, times you rose even when you didn't feel strong. The reflections aren't there to remind you of pain, but to show you the beauty that grew because you refused to give up. One stone shows you comforting a friend. Another shows you choosing forgiveness over bitterness. Another captures the moment you decided to dream again after a long season of silence. You reach the center of the field, where the grass gives way to a perfectly round pool of water. It's not large, but it's impossibly clear, so clear you can see not just your reflection, but images shimmering beneath its surface. As you kneel beside it, the water shifts, showing faces you love, some still here on earth, others now in heaven. One face holds your gaze a little longer. It's someone whose absence once left a deep ache in you. Yet here, they are radiant, whole, and smiling in a way that speaks of peace beyond words. Their voice comes, not from the air, but from within your heart. "You've carried more than anyone knew," they say softly. "But you never carried it alone. And now, new joy is coming, joy that doesn't have to be earned, only received." The moment is tender, and you realize tears are falling, but they feel light, almost like rain washing away what no longer belongs to you. Michael kneels beside you, his hand resting lightly on your shoulder. "What you're feeling right now," he says, "is the truth of heaven touching the soil of your life. It's not a glimpse to make you wish for what's gone, it's a reminder that what is coming is as real as the ground you stand on." His presence feels like a shield, yet also like a lantern guiding you forward. Jesus steps into the clearing then, his robe moving gently with the wind. The melody you heard earlier grows clearer in his presence. It's a chorus, and you realize it's coming from the very air around him. He looks at you, his eyes holding both the depth of eternity and the nearness of a friend. "You have been faithful in the little," he says, "and now the time has come for more. Not more to burden you, but more to free you." He reaches into the water and lifts something small yet shining, a single key. Placing it in your hand, he explains, "This is not to open a door you've been pounding on. It's to open the one that has been waiting patiently for you. You will know it when you see it." You close your fingers around the key, feeling its weight, not in your palm, but in your spirit. It's a promise made tangible. And for the first time in a long while, you feel ready, not just to hope, but to step into the hope that has been prepared for you. As you stand, the grass around the pool shimmers with golden light, and the melody swells, not as background music, but as if the entire field is celebrating your yes. Michael smiles, a quiet satisfaction in his expression. The next step will not be forced, he assures you. It will arrive like morning, unstoppable, and exactly on time. You turn toward the path again, the glowing stones lighting the way ahead. The wind shifts once more, carrying a whisper you know you'll never forget: love has not finished its work in you yet. And it never will. And as you walk forward, the horizon itself seems to lean closer, as if heaven cannot wait to meet you halfway. The path ahead feels alive under your feet, as if every step is being cushioned by something unseen yet deeply aware of you. The air is soft now, almost scented with a sweetness that doesn't come from flowers but from a presence that seems to have been here long before you arrived. You hear the faint rush of water somewhere nearby, a gentle river singing in tones that blend seamlessly with the hum of the field you just left behind. Archangel Michael walks beside you, his pace unhurried yet full of certainty. The golden light spilling over his shoulders doesn't fade, it follows him, like sunlight that has chosen him as its home. His eyes glance toward you for a moment, and without speaking, you understand. He is not here just to lead you forward, but to ensure you understand every step, every sign, every whisper meant for you. Ahead, the land curves slightly downward, revealing a hidden grove encircled by tall, ancient trees. Their branches seem to bow toward the center, as though reverencing something sacred. As you draw closer, you notice the ground here is covered in a carpet of pale petals, soft as memory, light as breath. They glow faintly, as if holding fragments of dawn within them. Michael gestures for you to pause before stepping into the grove. This, he says, is where heaven speaks in ways you cannot misunderstand. It's where the noise of the world cannot enter. Only truth can stand here. His words are not a command but an invitation. You step forward, and the air changes instantly. It's not that the wind has stopped. It's that it moves differently here, almost like it knows your name. A stillness settles over you, not heavy but profound. It's the kind of stillness that makes every heartbeat feel like a note in a song only heaven can hear. In the center of the grove, there's a small, round table made of smooth white stone. On it rests an envelope, sealed with gold wax. The seal is imprinted with a symbol you recognize instantly, a cross surrounded by a circle of light. Your breath catches, because you know without opening it that this letter has traveled through eternity to reach this exact moment. You look at Michael, and he nods. It's for you, he says simply. It has always been for you. With careful hands, you break the seal. Inside is a letter written in a script that feels both ancient and familiar. As your eyes move over the words, you realize they're speaking directly into the places you've guarded most closely. Beloved, your tears were never wasted. Not one fell without being caught. Every silent prayer you whispered in the night has been heard. The seasons you thought were empty were full of seeds you could not yet see. And now, those seeds are breaking through the soil. New life is here. The letter shifts, as if the ink itself is alive, and new words form before your eyes. You have not been forgotten, and you never will be. Your name is spoken here often, by those who love you and by the one who formed you. What is ahead will not erase what has been, but it will transform it into something beautiful beyond imagining. As you finish reading, a soft light blooms around the table, and the petals on the ground begin to lift, swirling gently into the air. They don't fall back down, they rise, as if drawn upward by the same unseen current that brought you here. Michael watches you closely. The petals are prayers, he explains. Every one of them is something you've lifted to heaven, even the prayers you didn't have words for. A warmth begins to spread through your chest, and you feel lighter, not because the weight of life has vanished, but because you realize it has been shared all along. You glance up, and through the branches you see a glimpse of the sky, not just blue, but streaked with gold and soft rose, as though morning has come early just for you. From the edge of the grove, you hear a voice. It's gentle yet powerful, the kind of voice that carries both comfort and authority. You turn and see Jesus stepping into the clearing. The moment he enters, the grove feels brighter, not with light alone, but with a kind of life that makes everything around him seem more awake. He walks toward you, each step leaving a faint shimmer in the air. I have waited for you to come here, he says. Not because you were late, but because today was the day your heart would be ready to hear what comes next. His eyes meet yours, and you feel known, not just in your past or your present, but in the way you will be known forever. He gestures toward the envelope still in your hand. That letter is only the beginning, he says. The rest will be written with your steps, with your yes, with the way you choose to trust even when you can't yet see the full picture. He pauses, then adds with a smile, and I promise, the picture will be worth every moment of waiting. Michael steps forward now, placing a hand gently over yours. When you leave this grove, he says, the world will feel the same, but you will not be the same. And that will change everything. His voice carries a quiet certainty, the kind that doesn't need to persuade because it simply tells the truth. You look down at the petals still rising around you, at the letter glowing faintly in your hand, and at the two figures standing beside you, one the warrior who has guarded your steps, the other the savior who has carried your heart. And in that moment, you realize, you are not walking into uncertainty, you are walking into a promise that has been waiting for you since before time began. The light in the grove deepens, wrapping around you like an embrace you never want to leave. But somehow, you know this embrace will follow you wherever you go. You step toward the path again, ready, not just to move forward, but to move forward with the unshakable knowledge that you are loved, you are seen, and you are part of something far greater than you ever imagined. And as you leave, a final whisper floats through the air, soft, steady, unforgettable. The best chapters have not yet been written. The path from the grove stretches before you like a ribbon of light, winding gently through the trees. Every step you take feels deliberate, as though the ground has been waiting for your feet to touch it. The golden glow from the grove lingers behind you, but you realize it hasn't faded, it's clinging to you, woven into the fabric of your being now. You carry the light with you. Archangel Michael walks on your right, his presence steady and reassuring. On your left, Jesus keeps pace, his gaze forward yet aware of every small change in your expression. It strikes you that heaven doesn't just watch from a distance, it walks beside you, step for step, breath for breath. The air begins to change. It's lighter, fresher, carrying with it the faint scent of rain on dry earth. You glance upward and see that the sky has shifted. The soft morning hues have deepened into a brilliant gold, with streams of pale silver cutting across it like ribbons. There's movement in the sky. Not clouds, but something brighter, almost like wings passing through light itself. Ahead, you see a small archway formed naturally by two great oak trees leaning toward each other. Vines heavy with tiny white blossoms drape from their branches, swaying gently as if welcoming you. Michael slows as you approach and turns to face you. Beyond this archway, he says, is where heaven's promise begins to touch earth in ways you can see. His words stir something deep inside you, an anticipation that feels almost too big for your chest. You step beneath the archway, and instantly the world opens wide. Rolling meadows stretch as far as you can see, their grass shimmering with a golden sheen as though each blade has been kissed by sunlight. A narrow crystal stream winds through the meadow, reflecting the sky so perfectly it looks like liquid heaven. Wildflowers bloom everywhere, lavender, gold, pale blue. And their fragrance fills the air with a sweetness that feels almost like joy made visible, but it's not just the beauty that takes your breath away, it's the sound. At first, you think it's the stream or the wind, but then you realize it's music. Not music from instruments you know, but a harmony woven from light itself. It rises and falls with the breeze, wrapping around you like an embrace you didn't know you needed. Jesus smiles at you. This is the place where prayers come home, he says. Every word, every sigh, every unspoken hope, they all land here. And from here, they grow into answers. Michael points toward a small hill in the distance. At its peak stands a single tree, tall and radiant, its leaves shimmering as if made from sunlight and dew. That tree, Michael explains, has roots in both heaven and earth. Its branches carry what is yet to come. If you stand beneath it, you will feel the shape of your future, not as fear or uncertainty, but as a certainty you can rest in. The three of you begin walking toward the hill. The closer you get, the more you notice how alive the meadow feels. Butterflies dance in pairs, birds weave through the air in arcs of joy, and even the grass seems to sway in rhythm with the music that fills the space. You realize this is not just a meadow, it's a living conversation between heaven and earth, and you've been invited into it. When you reach the base of the hill, Michael pauses, letting you take the lead. The climb is gentle, each step sinking slightly into the soft grass. And then, as you reach the top, you stand before the tree. Its trunk is smooth and warm to the touch, as if it's storing sunlight within. The leaves shimmer in countless shades of gold, and each one seems to hum faintly, like it's holding a secret. Jesus steps closer and places his hand over yours on the trunk. The moment he does, the hum of the leaves deepens into a single, steady tone that resonates in your chest. You close your eyes, and in that instant, you see. Not with your eyes, but with something deeper. You see moments yet to come, small, quiet victories you didn't know you'd have the strength for. You see faces lit with joy because of words you haven't spoken yet, hands reaching for yours in gratitude you haven't yet earned. You see doors opening where there were once walls, and light flooding places you thought would always be shadowed. It's not just your future you're seeing, it's the truth that your life is part of something far bigger than you imagined. Every choice to love, every moment of faith, every step forward even when you felt unsure, it has been weaving into a story so much more beautiful than you could write alone. When you open your eyes, the meadow seems even brighter. Michael is smiling, not the smile of someone pleased with himself, but the kind of smile that comes from seeing someone finally understand the truth they've been carrying all along. Jesus speaks softly, yet his words feel like they echo in the air around you. Nothing has been wasted. Not a tear, not a waiting season, not a single moment when you felt unseen. All of it has been gathered here, turned into something that will grow and keep growing. You realize then that the tree, the meadow, the music, they're not just beautiful places. They are living reminders that what is coming is not random. It's intentional. It's love, written into the very fabric of your days. Michael steps forward, resting his hand on your shoulder. When you leave this place, remember, the light you've seen here is already in you. You don't need to wait for it to appear, it goes where you go. And those who encounter you will feel it, even if they can't name it. The wind picks up slightly, carrying the scent of the blossoms from the archway behind you. The petals swirl in the air, drifting around you like blessings sent ahead of you into the path you will take next. As you stand between Jesus and Michael, looking out over the meadow, you feel no rush to leave. You know you will carry this place with you, the music, the light, the certainty that you are seen and loved without measure. And somewhere deep inside, you feel the promise rise again, steady and sure, the best chapters are still ahead. And as you take a slow breath, you realize, you are ready to walk into them.